Today was gross. This is kind of like worst case scenario price action throughout the day. We hit this huge level that I've been talking about, this 18,660. We bounced and just went essentially straight up, but it was like slow and choppy. Anytime we retest like one of these key levels, it's an amazing time for you to get in and get long. However, this happened at 7 in the morning. I don't trade pre-market. I only trade during these two dotted lines, ideally. So from open till about, 11:30, 12 o'clock, somewhere around there. And you can see this price action was not super clean. One of my favorite strategies is pulling back to the 50 EMA. We never pulled back to the 50 EMA. We crossed it at 8 a.m. and then we just kind of went up from there. It's not always every day you get great setups. This is part of being a day trader, being able to kind of sit on your hands and not overtrade and blow your account through commissions or just getting wicked and chopped up throughout the day. And as I said, this channel is always transparent. So I'm going to show the 3 live trades that I took today, and I got stopped out and wicked out of every single one of them. So yeah, I was like, I'm done trading for the day. I'm going to call it a day, wait for tomorrow. I'm sure tomorrow will have a lot cleaner of a price action. So let's dive into the live trades. The first trade here, I was expecting a pullback to the 50 EMA at the open, since we pretty much rose and like straight up in the pre-market. So I entered one NASDAQ contract short here. However, I messed with some quant tower configurations, and this is kind of what I was working with for the first trade. Couldn't really see exactly where my stop loss was getting put on the chart, so I reverted it back to the default after this trade. It's kind of a bummer because obviously the trade went my direction. We pulled all the way back to the 9 EMA. That could have been a $300 or $400 winner to start the day off, and then my day would have been done. So lessons learned there, don't mess with any chart configuration pre-market. So that was roughly $100 per account across 19 accounts. So $1,900 winner to start the day. So let's hop over to trade 2. I was expecting to get a little bit of a pullback here, usually around the 10:10, like 10 o'clock, 10:10, 10:15, anywhere around there. You get like a little bit of a market reversal. Price action had slowed down. We were not continually pushing to the upside, so I was expecting a little bit of a pullback here. And of course, I try to trail my stop. However, as you can see, we're just chopping around this area. We're not really moving upwards from this area or moving lower in my direction. However, I did set my stop a little bit lower than it was initially, and you're gonna see here I get stopped out. I was like, all right, I should probably move that back up to where it was beforehand, but I didn't get it in time, so I got stopped out, and as you can see, it never would have reached my initial stop. So we're back in here. Sellers are coming back in, as you can see by the black dots on the book map. Those are market sell orders that are coming in, and I'm expecting us to get a little bit of a pullback, at least toward right around where that take profit level is. I think a good retracement and then a push higher up to that 19,000 level is very viable. And with how choppy the market is, I'm definitely going to make sure I trail this and lock in any profits that I am able to get. And then after the pullback, I'm expecting a rally up to those levels of liquidity that you can see at that like 19,000 level on NASDAQ. These levels of liquidity you'll tend to see on Bookmap act as almost like a magnet to price action. So if you see a huge level, it's likely to get touched within that same day or at least that week, usually, unless the levels are removed or like market conditions change. And to save every viewer from falling asleep, I'm gonna fast forward the rest of this trade until we get closer to the exit, because no one wants to sit here and watch a candle dance around the same level for like 2 or 3 minutes. So sellers start to step in. I'm thinking we're finally going to get that move in the direction that I was hoping for, and buyers immediately come right back in and stop me out. So that right there is the full summary of how my trading was today. Get stopped out for like $5 and then continue to wait for the next setup. The next setup presents itself. You think you're actually going to finally get some momentum in that direction, and then you just get stopped out again. So on to trade 3, last trade of the day. We hop in right here with 2 MNQ contracts to the upside. NASDAQ was holding the 9 exponential moving average, so I expected we were going to finally get that move up to that 19,000 level. As always, I'm trailing my stop, especially today, because price action is wicking back and forth, and I'm not going to risk it reversing on me again. Just kind of trying to trail it. Looks like the buyers are stepping in here. Try to put it to the bottom of the candle, and then boom, stopped out again. And right here is the price action after I got stopped out at 6 times the speed, just so you can kind of see how the price was actually moving today as an actual trader in the markets, not just like hindsight looking at a chart. This is actually how it traded from around 10 to like 10:30. And this is when you should just, pack it up, call it a day. Whether you're green or red right now, like you're definitely more likely to just overtrade, get absolutely chewed up by commissions and get stopped out left and right. This can cause full tilt. And these kind of days are typically the days that you'll see a lot of traders lose their account or give back a full week of profit, just because they'll be like, all right, I'm going to get short here. Oh, my short got stopped out, now I'm going to go long. Oh, my long got stopped out, now I don't know what to do. And then before you know it, you take $200 loss after $200 loss, and you have a minus $1,000 day. And then you're like, all right, I'm just going to take one more trade to try to get it back to break even. And that's how you blow up your account. So if you see stuff like this, just step away. There's always another day to trade in the markets. So in recap, it was an early day for me. I was able to lock in $2,700 across all of the 19 accounts in total. It was very frustrating, and that's kind of part of being a trader. Not all the time you're going to have a super clean movement and price action, but when you do, this is a reason why you had to take advantage of it. If you're seeing the market really clean one day, make sure you execute on your setups that you're seeing. Don't overtrade, but don't just take one trade and be done. If you're like really having a good read price action, and everything's kind of respecting the levels in which you're thinking, definitely always capitalize on every opportunity that there is. But yeah, comment below. Did you guys have a good day today, a bad day today? What do you think the market's going to do the rest of the week with all the news and stuff like that coming out? And yeah, as always, trade safe, be smart, use some smaller position sizing right now, especially in these kind of markets, and let's get to those payouts.